Measuring progress, guys. So today we're talking about measuring progress. And we measure progress in three main ways, all right? So we measure progress by weighing in, right? We measure progress by weighing in, and we weigh in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So again, every Monday morning, every Wednesday morning, every Friday morning. If you're weighing in Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m., at noon, whenever you feel like the weather is nice, then you're not gonna get anything consistent. Okay, so you have to measure first thing in the morning, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, after using the restroom, if possible, and then just get on the scale. And then, again, don't be weighing yourself like with heavy clothing or anything, just like boxers or sports bra and shorts. Same thing every single time. Okay. Number two is pictures. Right? Pictures, we do it, same thing. First thing in the morning after using the restroom, if possible, every Monday. Okay. For men, shirtless photos. All right. Front, side, back. Women, has to be sports bra and like shorts, or sports bra and whatever, like joggers or pants or anything like that. But do not wear the spandex that covers your waist, that covers your hips, that covers like the areas of opportunity. And the reason for that being is there's no way of telling progress. All right. Unless you go on like, unless you lose 100 pounds, you're not going to notice that progress. Okay. So Monday mornings can be the most humbling experience, but it's also very important to look at yourself in the mirror, literally, right? And just say like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm going. Okay. So the pictures have to be absolutely clear. Okay. No hiding your face. All right. No cutting off your head. None of that stuff. All right. Number three is measurements. Measurements are also only every Monday. All right. We weigh in for men. We weigh in. We do our measurements around our chest, around our nipple line, around our waist. All right. Right around the belly button, and around your hips, right at the highest point of your hips where you feel your hip bone. Okay. For women, it is going to be neck, waist, same thing around your belly button, and hips, same thing right where you feel the bone. Okay. So the reason that we do this, guys, is sometimes pictures will not show all of our progress. Okay. But measurements will, right? Sometimes your weight will stay the exact same, but the inches are going down. Okay. Sometimes two of the three will be the same, right? So sometimes like your pictures look the same and your weight is exactly where it was, or maybe even you gained a pound, right? And your measurements have gone down, right? Or maybe your measurements have stayed the same and your pictures have stayed the same, but your weight has dropped 2 pounds or 3 pounds, right? So that's why there are three main forms of measurement, right? So those are the basic ways of gauging progress and measuring your progress, right? So what are some other ways of measuring progress? And that's what I want to discuss with you guys today. So energy, right? I think a lot of us get caught up with numbers and pictures and forget the big picture. All right, play on words there. All right, so we forget how we feel, right? We forget that how we feel is very important. Who wants an amazing body or physique or transformation and they feel like absolute shit inside, or you have no energy? Like, it's terrible. You don't want to do that. Like, that's what like the top tier competitors, that's why they could only do that for like a week, right? That's why like when top tier competitors are on stepping on stage or whatnot, they could only be that weight and that look for like a week, because it's unhealthy and their body's gonna collapse if they stay there for that long. So a lot of us, again, we get caught up in numbers and pictures and forget the big picture, which is how we feel. Like, I think everyone at one point or another has felt very, very unhealthy, very lethargic, very tired, you know, insert whatever else, very shitty, right? So sometimes we'll be maybe not seeing the progress that we want to see on a scale, or maybe not seeing the progress that we want to see in our pictures or measurements, but our energy's through the roof. You've had more energy now than you had for like the last 3 years, 5 years, 3 months, whatever it is. Like, and maybe we don't see the scale move for a week, or God forbid, you don't see the scale move for 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks, and then we just start freaking out. Meanwhile, physically you feel great, mentally you feel the best you have in years. So I can't stress this enough, guys. Like, energy and how you feel, like, slow down and give yourself a pat on the back when you're feeling good on energy, but the other stuff isn't moving. All right. The next thing is clothes. Guys, if your clothes are feeling different, this is a telltale sign that your body composition is changing. All right. Especially if it's something that you haven't worn in months or maybe even years. Okay. And I'm not talking about like just wore, like I'm talking about like you wore it and it fits comfortably. It fits maybe even better than you remember it fitting prior, right? So energy, clothes, how so energy and clothes other than pictures, measurements and weigh-ins. So when this stuff is happening and like you do hit a plateau, how do you break out of these plateaus? So let's say your weight hasn't moved in the last 2 weeks, right? So some of it is some stuff that you will learn and or have learned before, which is shortening your rest times, right? Shortening your rest times with your workout. So that way, like, your work capacity is larger, and also you'll get a little bit more of a cardio workout with it as well. So if, for example, you're doing 3 sets of 8 on a certain, like, let's just say 3 sets of 8 on squats, and you're normally resting for 1 minute, and now let's say you rest, instead of for 1 minute, you're resting for 50 seconds or 45 seconds, and you're using the same exact amount of weight, you've made progress, right? So one is shorten your rest times. You'll increase your work capacity by doing that. Number 2 is do more reps. Okay, so if it's within your program and there's a rep range, go within your reps. Another one, if you have the convenience right now, add more weight, right? Add more weight. Another way of breaking out of these plateaus is slow down in your movements, all right? So are you just rushing through the movement to get over with it, or are you actually taking your time to make sure that you're doing the movement right? All right, slow down the movement. Think of what you're working. All right, if I'm doing a chest press or a push-up, am I actually feeling it in my chest? If no, like, maybe slow down, focus on it, and try to really put the fancy word for it is neuromuscular efficiency. Okay, but the just the plain and simple word is like mind muscle connection, right? So if I'm working my biceps, do I actually feel my biceps working? If I'm working my triceps, do I actually feel my triceps working? If I'm doing a push-up, am I actually feeling my chest, or am I feeling my shoulders more? Why am I feeling my shoulders? Are my shoulders way too flared out? So slow down with the movement and practice the movement. Slow down with the movement and make sure that you're getting the most out of that particular movement. So like, these are, again, methods that you have learned and or will continue to learn while working like with Real Results Fitness. And these things will break you out of plateaus as long as you're continuing to stick with your nutrition, with your training, with your macros. Okay. So what could be holding you back? What are some things that could be holding you back when you think that everything you've done everything right, you're tracking all your macros and whatnot? One is getting ahead of yourself. It's thinking that you got this down. It's thinking like, I lost 3 pounds this week. This fitness thing is easy, right? All I got to do is continue losing 3 pounds, and in 4 weeks, I'm going to be at my goal weight, right? Or thinking you got this down as in like, hey, like, well, first of all, unless you have a lot of weight to lose, 3 pounds every week is very aggressive. I digress. Another thing is tracking, not tracking your food, not tracking your snacks. Sorry. You could be tracking your whole day perfectly, and then maybe in between you're hungry, so you grab a pretzel here, right? Or you grab a little fun size candy from your work here, or they just had a potluck and you grab something here, or you grab your kid's fruit snack, or you grab some juice from the fridge, or just whatever's very, very convenient, and you don't track it. And the next day you hit a new low still, and you're like, hey, well, I got away with it before, so let me just continue to see how much I could get away with. And then all of a sudden you hit a new high on a particular day. And you're like, what the hell? I've been tracking everything, right? So you haven't. So not tracking snacks. So thinking you got it down, not tracking snacks. These are things that could be holding you back. Eating mindlessly, okay? And then tracking at the end of the day. So let's say I eat the same foods every day, so I don't track. And then all of a sudden, or I eat the same foods every day, so I'm just tracking at the end of my day. And then you go and track at the end of your day, and you're like, shit, I overate by 400 calories, right? So eating mindlessly and then tracking at the end of the day, this could be holding you back. Not tracking ahead of time. When you're starting with this journey, you're tracking everything. You're trying to get down every single thing down. You're trying to make sure you have every macro, and you're trying to understand what a macro is and what a calorie is, and can I substitute this food? And you're really gung-ho, but then as you go through it, you kind of just like let everything fall by the wayside, and you forget what got you to where you're at. So going back to basics, understand that you have to go back to the basics when you are eating loosely and just kind of like falling off, and the pictures, measurements, weigh-ins, energy, clothes are not feeling the same, all right, or are not making progress. Another thing that could be holding you back is the time of the day. If you're weighing in randomly and doing your measurements randomly, then you'll never get any type of accuracy. All right. So what's tracked is measurable. Okay. And the reason we do our weigh-ins and pictures and measurements first thing in the morning is because if you do it 2 hours after you wake up, maybe you had a glass of water, hopefully after 2 hours of waking up, hopefully you've moved, right? So that's some form of activity, right? That's some form of activity. Maybe you had some water, maybe you had a cup of coffee, maybe you had a donut, maybe you had a protein shake. All that stuff is gonna affect your weight. So if you're weighing in at noon and it's 2 pounds heavier than last week when you weighed in first thing in the morning, maybe it's because you ate and or moved, or maybe you had a high sodium meal, right? Even though it fits your macros, maybe you had a high sodium meal, right? So if you're weighing in randomly, if you're taking your pictures, as you progress, you'll see the progress regardless. But I don't care. I want you to take your pictures first thing in the morning. And guys, if you're doing things randomly, you'll never get any type of accuracy. All right. And lastly, are you actually doing the work? All right. Did you do all your cardio or did you miss some? Did you stick with your nutrition plan or did you do good? I think I ate clean today, or I ate healthy, right? Did you track everything? Healthy to you might mean different than healthy to me. So I don't care if you ate healthy. Did you track everything? Did you track all your nutrition? Did you track, did you make sure you hit those numbers? If not, why? how can you make that up the following day? Are you doing your cardio, or are you pushing everything off to the end of the week? And then Sunday comes around and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I need to do this, that, and the other. Are you doing your workouts? And if so, are you just like moving through the movements? Are you just like doing it very robotically, or are you being intentional with your workouts and pushing yourself and trying to get better with your workouts? All right. Are you only tracking 5 days out of the week? Guys, if you only track 5 days out of the week, that's a C minus. I did the math, that's 71%. All right. You cannot expect A+ results with a C- work ethic. Okay. So guys, that is it for today's roundtable. I wanted to just review that, go over why we might be falling off, where we might be falling off, and just a review of progress. So that being said, we're going to go around the circle and talk about our biggest takeaways. Mina, what's been your biggest takeaway?
Thinking you got it all figured out, you lost 2 pounds or 3 pounds, you're like, oh, this is easy. I could take it easy, and you take your foot off the gas, and you don't go as far.
Yeah. Cool. Sarah, what's been your biggest takeaway of today? Oh, Bobby, what's been your biggest takeaway of today?
Do the work, bro. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Bobby. Connie, what's been your biggest takeaway of today?
Mine was the energy. I guess I never really stopped to think that that's a form of progress, but yeah, it really is. Like you feel better, your attitude, you're just being able to go ahead and, I'm going to tackle this with like intention and motivation. So yeah, that was a takeaway for me.
Awesome. Hala, what's been your biggest takeaway of today?
For me to stick with my workout plan, and I think as you mentioned, I just changed my dress size. I used to wear 8 or 7, and this time I just bought one size 6, so I feel so good.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Yep. Yeah,
congratulations
it's a
on
huge
that.
difference. It's a huge difference for me.
I bet, and I bet it fits nice too.
And my plan for the next dress I'm gonna buy, it should be size 4.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Nera, what's been your biggest takeaway of today? You're muted.
Sorry, there we go. I think by now, after like a year of doing this, you know when to unmute yourself, right? Anyway, probably about the integrity is my biggest takeaway is, eat what you say you're going to eat, track what you're going to be eating, do your workouts when you say you're going to be doing them. Like, it's just that honesty thing, and you hold us accountable, but also we're kind of accountable to ourselves as well. I can't remember who said it. It's like, you're paying for someone to put you through all this hard work and everything. And what are you paying for? You're just going to lie on your butt and not do anything, right? So yeah, it's integrity.
Right. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Nera. And Sarah wrote hers. She said her biggest takeaway is that change isn't always a number, as in pounds. I've been noticing these differences in the last couple of weeks. It's good to hear it. Cool. Any questions, guys? No? Awesome. All right, let's finish our weekend strong. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Friday, and I'll talk to you later.